Yes, once again, from a secret, undisclosed location hidden somewhere deep in the bowels of St. John's, Newfoundland, comes In the Library of Graphic Literature with your host, me, Wallace Ryan. That being said, today's topic is comic strips, and comic strips galore is what I'm calling it for this week. And so I'm going to go through, just pull up a stool here for all my other things to get onto. So I'm going to, as we all know, the Library of American Comics does great comic strip collections and all that. But I've done features on them. I've talked about them all the time. I rave about them because they're so darn good. But this week, I'm going to check out some of the other publishers of comic book strips. Got a huge stack here, so we're going to start right away. And we're going to start with Fantagraphics. I would say after the Library of American Comics, hang on a second, let me have a sip of my tea here. After the Library of American Comics, without doubt, I think the next premier publisher of comic strips is Fantagraphics. They are as delicious as a cup of tea. But yes, Fantagraphics, the fine folks out there on the West Coast. Like I say, the Library of American Comics has really set the standard, but Fantagraphics is not far behind. And we'll start, of course, with one of my favorites of theirs, is the Complete Peanuts. Of course, who doesn't love Peanuts, including myself? Love them to death. And this was basically a 25 volumes, I think it was in all. Yeah, basically 25 volumes. And, this is the penultimate one. I guess the other one had some other stuff. But, amazing. I mean, it's still one of the most amazing comic strips of all time. Still one of my most favorite. And I mean, good reproduction, beautiful design. I love the design. It was the book itself was designed and series designed by Seth. So yeah, great work. Now, the only problem when they did this was that the Sunday comics were done in black and white. So that was the only thing wrong with this. It wasn't in color. So after Complete Peanuts was done, a couple of years later, they followed with Peanuts Every Sunday. And basically this is the Sunday Peanuts, but in color. And of course, being in color. Actually, this is one of the older ones. Let's try. That was number one. Let's try. It's something where Snoopy looks more like Snoopy. This is from 76 to 80. A great time. And I love it. I love Peanuts Every Sunday because they're big, bold, beautiful, and full of that simple Schultzian coloring that made it such a joy on Sundays to read. Oh. There we go. Here, have a close look. We see Sally and Eudora and Snoopy there. And there's Eudora by herself with Sally. But yeah, great comic strip. Great books. Great job. Way to go, Fantagraphics. So if you do have the Complete Peanuts, you really should add this to the pot. It just completes it. Now we'll continue along with Fantagraphics, and another one of the great collections, another one of the great comic book strips that they're reprinting is Pogo by Walt Kelly. Dun, 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 dun. An amazing strip. It helps if you're familiar with your history, especially your American history, because there's a lot of in-jokes, a lot of political stuff, and stuff that you'd really have to have been around or be. I mean, I grew up I was a child in the 60s and teenager in the 70s, but I mean, I knew there were a lot of references made in this that I was familiar with. But beautifully done. The drawing itself is just, I love Kelly's style. It's just, his characters, everything. beautiful, beautiful. So you got definitely a must have. Next up, we have Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse by Floyd Godfredson. Dun-dun-dun-dun. And I like this. Godfredson, I mean, I think he really made Mickey Mouse in terms of comic strips and comic books. I mean, frenetic. The stories are it just never seems to stop. Really is a constant go, 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 go. And I have like the 8 or 10 volumes of this. And I do intend to read them someday. Anyway, so yeah, so worth checking out. Let's continue on. Now we have two beauties from Wallace Wood, also known as Wally Wood, but I prefer Wallace Wood. First of all is Shattuck. This is an original art edition, by the way, and it's let's see, collected here for the first time in an original art facsimile edition created by Wallace Wood and drawn by Dave Cockrum and Howard Chaykin, among others. Those yarns starring buckaroos and bare naked belles entertain military men far from their homestead. So yeah, it's lots of cool artwork. I can tell the Chaykin and especially I can really tell when there's any Dave Cockrum stuff there, because it's kind of obvious. But yeah, it looks like a lot of it was inked by Jack Abel, is what I'm assuming. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. Great artwork, and an interesting little piece of historic cartooning. Now, and this is one where I really can't show much of this one, unfortunately. This is his famous book, Canon. As it says here, before Jason Bourne, before Archer, before Heisenberg, there was Canon. And the Cold War heats up in an explosion of sex and violence. Yay! So, nothing like it. That was the cool thing about living in the 60s and 70s, was that you could really get away with a lot more. These days, people are just much too overly sensitive and lacking emotionally to appreciate some of this stuff. So, and especially Canon. Canon was, it was filled with nudity and stuff like that, but, that's what grown-up comics is all about. So another piece of genius from Wallace Wood. Still in the Roadhouse of Fantagraphics, we have Captain Easy by Roy Crane. Dun-dun-dun-dun. So it's I kind of like his style. It kind of reminds me in a way of I guess Chester Gould in a way. So this strip itself is definitely worth picking up. I have 4 volumes of it, and then there's a bunch of I also got some Buzz Sawyer there, and Washed blah blah, a few other things anyway. But so worth getting. Beautifully done. Speaking of beauty, and this is possibly one of Fantagraphics' more beautiful ones, is the Prince Valiant. Da-na-na-na. And of course, who doesn't love Prince Valiant? Because he is cool. The artwork, absolutely stunning, of course. I sure wish people could draw this well today. It's a problem these days. I find there's very few artists who are technically really, really competent drawers. Oh, and here we have that famous scene there where Prince Valiant dresses up like a demon, and this was the one that Jack Kirby based his demon character on. Even kind of looks like him in a way, right? I guess to piss DC off, but yeah, this is just so worth reading. Each panel, it's just, I could just read this just for the art alone. Or not read it, you know what I mean. Absolutely stunning. Stunning. So yeah, you just don't get artwork of this quality anymore. Upwards of say with your Tom Yates, your Barry Windsor Smiths, your people like that. Now, coming towards the end of the Fantagraphics. The last Fantagraphics show actually will lead us into another one. And this is a couple of the comic strips that ran in the National Lampoon. So I thought I'd mention those two. First being, of course, Gahan Wilson's Nuts. It's amazing. As Neil Gaiman says, Gahan Wilson's Nuts is the best, most clear-eyed explanation of and memoir about childhood I've ever read. Small, cramped, perfect drawings that show children as they are, explorers without a map or a book of instructions in the land of mad giants. Mad, yes, absolutely stunning. Love the artwork, beautiful line artwork, great cartoons, and very, very funny. Great observations. It just, I mean, this strip lives. This is alive. So yeah, check it out. Well worth reading. Nuts by Gahan Wilson, one of the classics. Also in there came Jeffrey Jones' Idol and I'm Age. Now Idol was in National Lampoon, but I'm Age I think was in, I do believe, Heavy Metal. Anyway, absolutely gorgeous work here. Lots of nudity, of course, but nothing wrong with that. And I seen Craig Yo online there today was mentioning about inkers and him knowing inkers who've gone back to using brush and all that instead of digital. And this one, Idol and I'm Age, is a perfect example of why you should, because you can't get this type of beautiful work and line work from a computer. I find computer artwork to be very dead. The line is very dead, unimaginative, blah blah. Where with a brush, you got beautiful lines, and especially in the I'm Age, he really goes wild. I mean, it really is like almost like life drawing class. These are like little masterpieces of art. So yeah, definitely worth picking up. Now, what else do we have? Oh, Trots and Bonnie, and possibly one of the more radical and intense comics I've ever read, Trots and Bonnies. This is not for the faint of heart. Sherry Flanagan, she basically tells us some tales of Pepsi and Bonnie and their dog Trots and all the stuff that they get up to. It's an interesting. I mean, we see lots of coming of age stories and stuff like that for years from men, and this was really one of the first coming of age stories that were brought to us by women. Now, of course, there's some of this is pretty intense because I mean they talk about sex, stuff like that, and I know there are some people out there who don't seem to be able to handle that. Satire, unfortunately, is lost on a lot of the young people today, which is too bad, because satire is the weapon, is one of the biggest weapons we have against tyranny and tyrants. and that's who I think basically are the people who are against, all this stuff the most. As you can tell, I'm a radical middle of the road person. I think the left and the right both suck equally. Anyway, let's go on to Friday Foster. This is from Ablaze, who don't usually put out that much in the way of comic strips, but very nicely done. This job is, I mean, color. The color is beautiful. The drawing is quite exceptional for this strip. And so you should check it out. It looks wonderful. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Absolutely stunning. I don't know when this ran. Does it say? Ran in Pilote. 1970. It's funny, I was going to say that too. It has a real 70s look forward. But yeah. Yep, definitely. Okay, now we move on to Classic Comics Press. A small outfit, and they do some cool stuff. This one is Casey Ruggles, A Saga of the West, Volume 1. And Ruggles, extremely amazing. amazing artist. I mean, Warren Tough, sorry. Casey Rose, amazing strip. The artwork is incredible. See, check this out. The artwork is just absolutely stunning. And I mean, gee, once again, here's someone who can actually really draw. I mean, I'm thinking back even to your John Buscema's and people like that. Oh, look at that. This is artwork that's up there with your Mike Colloders, your Wrightsons, which we don't seem to really have that much of anymore. Okay, and then another one by Tufts is Lance, and this is sort of one set basically in the Wild West type of thing, and sort of an adventure strip, you know, as they were subjugating the West. So something to gloss over the terrible way in which we treat Native people. Anyway, the comic strip itself, though, is quite something else. The artwork is stunning. Once again, why can't we all have artwork like this? So yeah, Lance, and I'm not sure if this one is still in print or not. I would hope so. Oh, I'm going to make sure my stack of books don't go tumbling down there. Another one from Classic Comics Press is Frank Godwin's Rusty Roddy, and the artwork, I mean, this is what attracted me. I just seen some of his artwork, looked it up online, and was just like, oh my god, this guy is just an incredible artist. I mean, the line work itself. Once again, this is line work that you can't do on a computer. You know, I find computer line work just to be dead and boring, yawn. I mean, it's good if you want to be put to sleep. But look at this. Thick and thin lines. And the thick and thinness too, I mean, I can read the mathematics when I look at inked stuff by Photoshop. It just has a sameness to it. This just reeks of pure art. So worth getting. Anyway, let's see. Ooh, next up, now we're into. Oh, and here is one. This is from Drawn and Quarterly. This is Walton Skizix, better known as, of course, this is Gasoline Alley. I don't know why they called it. Why they didn't just call it that. But yeah, beautifully done. I like the sort of yellow pages. And this, apparently, this was made possible by the cartoonist Joe Matt, who apparently had a complete collection of these comic strips, where I guess there's so much art gets lost over the years, I guess, especially with some of these comic strips and all that. But thank God we got people like Joe who actually collected them up and made stuff like this possible. I think there were at least 8 or 9 books that I can remember that so far. But yeah, so beautiful. Now we go on to Dark Horse Comics. And here we have Jerry Robinson and Sheldon Stark's Jet Scott. Dun, 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 dun. Pretty cool, hey? And the artwork was even better when I first picked it up. The artwork was even better than I thought. I guess thinking about Jerry Robinson now, I was thinking about 1930s, 40s style artwork and all that. But it's quite something else. Almost has a Frank Robin feel to it. But yeah, absolutely stunning. So worth seeing. And some cool Ben-Day patterns in this too. In this show. This was the day. And then some sketches here. So yeah, definitely worth picking up there. Now, this one here, this is Conan the Barbarian, the newspaper strips volume 1. I can't remember if there were any other volumes that came out. And to be quite honest, the reproduction on this, it's a little bit muddy, to be quite honest. I'm assuming that this was the best that they could supply Dark Horse, because they usually do top-notch stuff. So I think this was all that they... I mean, you know, it's some Ernie Chan, some cool Ernie Chan for you Ernie Chan fans. Roy Thomas writing the whole thing. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. But like I say, not one of the better collections. Then from Hermes we have Dark Shadows, the complete newspaper strips. Dun-dun-dun-dun, for those of you who are fans of Dark Shadows. I can remember watching it as a kid on TV. I actually quite like the artwork in this too. It's something else. It has mood to it. You know, especially this color one there, right? I mean, the coloring is very advanced for its time. There we go. Almost reminds me of it could be modern coloring. Actually, almost reminds me of my friend Paul Tucker and his amazing coloring that he does. So yeah, definitely looks so cool, eh? Once again, why can't we get more stuff beautifully drawn like that these days? So yeah, definitely worth owning. And there was another one belonged to that too. Hang on a second. Just noticed one that I take it out. Now the other one here, this is Mail Call from Milton Caniff. This is the complete newspaper strips from 42 to 46. This was here it is, Milton Caniff's famous Good Girl, created just for servicemen during World War II, known to GIs everywhere as Lace. So yeah, it's one of these things to take the mind off folks who are, you know, who are putting their lives on the line and fighting the Nazis. So of course, a little bit of salacious entertainment for them. The artwork, of course, is classic Milton Caniff. Beautiful blacks in terms of spotting. Amazing line work as usual. But yeah, definitely. Now I do believe there was someone else did a book of this stuff too. But I had this one, so I figured, oh, I'll just keep the Hermes version because it's not that bad. So any of you fans of Milton Caniff, you got to run out and grab yourself one of these. It's beautiful. And last but by no means least, from Amigo, a Ferran Delgado production, is Sky Masters of the Space Force, the complete Sunday strips in color 59 to 60, from Jack Kirby and Wallace Wood. Got a lot of Wallace Wood in this. Anyway, this is the famous strip that he did, and it ended up getting him kicked out of Marvel and pushed him over to DC, I mean, and working with Marvel. So this actually served a great purpose. But of course, with Kirby, and of course having Wood on inks, it's quite a beautiful strip. I mean, you're looking at Kirby just before Fantastic Four, before all the greatness. So these will show you where he's going. Sort of picks up where Challengers of the Unknown left off for him. And then there's some color guides and some other stuff in it, but a great little book, definitely worth picking up and having. And last but not least, and this is from Hermes also, this is the Sky Masters of the Space Force. This is the complete dailies. So this is the black and white ones. And this, the artwork was, especially more at the start, it tends to get a little bit muddy as it goes on. But at the first, I don't know, 100 pages of it, it's actually not too bad. Especially the very early pages. Very, very clean, clear Kirby artwork with beautiful inking from Wallace Wood. Look at that. I mean, my God. Here is inking done right. So yeah, so complete the complete Sky Masters. So yeah, definitely worth picking up if you can. Like I say, some of the later ones, the production is not too muddy, not as muddy as some stuff I've seen, or as bad as the Conan book, but this one, this ain't bad. Still prefer the Amigo one, but this one, not bad either. Okay, so that's it, folks. Thanks for having me over, and hopefully now next week I'll be back here with lovely Luna, and we'll have something different for you once again. Pip pip and all that. So, and don't forget, check out the Thursday Comics, because it's pretty cool, and the Comics Positive, which I really got to get back at. Anyway, that being said, and check out, of course, coming in April, Stringer from Patrick Kinlan, Paul Tucker, and myself, and Image Comics. Yay! That's gonna be quite the show, because it'd be great to actually finally have a hardcover that has my name on it. Anyway, that being said, love you all, and love those comic strips, love those comics. Get out there, be comics positive. Yay! See you later. Bye.